Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. My name is Gabby. I'm gonna go ahead and do this softball look for you guys, so if you want to see how I did it, then keep on watching. I'm just gonna start with some sunscreen, and it's just this banana boat travel size, and it's SPF 30. I try to use sunblock or sunscreen on my face as much as I can, and on my neck. I mean, I don't do it every day, and I know I should, but when I do remember, I try to put it on so that I don't get wrinkles. I've heard a lot of women saying, and especially older women, that they prevented wrinkles by using sunblock. So I don't know if it works, but at least we're trying. I just went to wash my little blending sponge, and this one is the Real Techniques blending sponge, the original one, and I like these so much, but they don't last as long as like the Beauty Blender or anything, but it works way better in my opinion. So if it looks a little jacked up, it's because I need a new one and I just haven't gotten one. But we're gonna use that, and then we're gonna use the Revlon Color Stay foundation. So we're gonna go ahead and just put that on. I just dab it on with my finger. I'm gonna do my nails too. They're looking a little scary. And I had a really bad little like pimple here. I'm just blending this out with my sponge. And the first layer, like I do usually go in with 2 layers, because the first layer is not that full coverage. It's like a medium to full, or no, it's like a medium coverage foundation, if I'm being really honest with you. But it's really buildable. Like I have been able to get it to look full coverage, or at least almost there, with the help of like concealer and contour and all that. So I don't know if you can tell already, but it looks like my skin color. It just makes, it has like no yellowish tint to it, and I look super white. And I feel like now, like I did my hair darker, I feel like now I'm gonna look super pale. But whatever, that's fine. So I'm just getting it under my eye. I do use this foundation under my eyes. With matte foundations, I try not to go under my eye so much because I don't like to dry it out. And with matte foundations, you will dry out your under eye. When you put on your concealer, it'll look kind of dry and like creasy. Like it'll like get into your creases under there, if that makes sense to you. Like it'll look just dry and dull. It won't look moisturized. Like it kind of just dries out your whole eye look, honestly. So with matte foundation, I wouldn't go in with that under your eyes at all. Just kind of build, if you're looking for more full coverage under your eye, like for dark circles, I have very dark circles, I would say just do more, like go in extra with extra steps, and I'll show you how I do that with the concealer. And you can also use a color corrector method to make your eyes look a little more coverage, like with coverage. Because even though I cover my dark circles, I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm always out of breath. Even with dark circles, if I cover them, you can still see like my, like I have like these dentations under my eye, like bags, and I always look tired. It's just so annoying, but we make it work, so it's not too bad. So I'm just going in with a second layer, and this is going to be the final layer of my foundation. I don't like to make it too heavy. I hate feeling like I have a full face of like film of foundation on. It's really gross to have like a cakey face. Alright, the foundation is blended out, and now I'm gonna conceal, and I'm gonna use the e.l.f. What is this? The camo 16-hour camo concealer, and I get this at Target just like the foundation. I just grab them and pick them up whenever I'm running low. This is like $6 and it works really good. It's like better than the expensive freaking concealers that you buy at Sephora or whatever. I'm not trying to pay $20 for a concealer when this one works just fine. And it's the shade ranges are really good. I think one, because this one's not the lightest shade, but it's still light enough for me. So it's been my go-to for like maybe 3 years now, 2 or 3 years now. So I just dab on a few dots. I just went ahead and did like 3 on each side. I don't overdo it, but I'm still not gonna be finished after blending this out. I'll show you the next steps to make that darkness look a little less dark. I'm just gonna blend it out, and I don't like go down and make this whole like triangle how people do. I just stay in the area where I have the darkness under my eyes. I don't over conceal and like drag that down and make it look all white and bright. I don't really like that look. To me, it looks too dramatic. But if you like that look, you can always do like, you know, your marks down here before you blend it out. It just doesn't look that good on my face. And I always think it's a better idea to keep the concealer above your cheekbone. So if you smile, like, it shouldn't go past this, honestly, if you can see that. Like, it shouldn't go down into the apples of your cheeks or on your cheek. If you're gonna spot correct or like cover up a pimple, yeah. Alright, so like I was saying, after I blended out that concealer, I'm gonna go with the Morphe, and this is the, it doesn't even have like the letters on it or anything. I don't even think it ever did, but it's the Morphe concealer palette, and I use this a lot on clients, and that's why it looks all like used up. So this has been one of my favorite concealer or like cream contour palettes for years now. But I use it on all of my clients. Everybody has loved their makeup when I use this. So I mean, I use it all the time. Like, it's just my go-to, and it's lasted me so long. But what I do is, because these are really dry, I don't know if you can tell, like if I rub my finger in it, if I rub my finger in it, I'll hardly get anything off. It's just not creamy or anything at first. I have to use like an elixir. So what I do is I use this LC elixir, and this has been my like little trick or tip for so long that it just works so well together. But this is a like glow enhancer. It says it's a dry face oil, and basically you can see I've used pretty much a lot of it because a little bit goes such a long way. And it just says to shake well, but I got this elixir like at one of I think it was like IMATS or something. And then I'll just grab like the palette like this flat, and I use for my under eyes, I use the two lightest shades in the front, and I do 1 drop in each shade. And even that sometimes is too creamy, like it gets too creamy. But so I'll just grab my little concealer brush, and this is like a Morphe concealer brush that I got at the Morphe store. I don't even know what it's called anymore, I'm so sorry, but the letters rubbed off. But I grabbed the concealer brush, and I just kind of dip my brush in that where I dropped the oil, and I'll just like smear it into a dry spot of that cream or of this concealer. Sorry, I can't even freaking talk. And then I'll do the same on the second shade. So I'm kind of mixing shades, you could say. And it's not even a lot, like it's barely anything on that brush. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and drag this from the inner corner here, and not all the way down to the end of my eye, but I'm just gonna use it basically to the halfway point so that I can get some better coverage, and it kind of gives it that extra like hydrating look. It doesn't look as dry like I was talking about. And just dap it on. You don't want to drag it, like you don't want to paint it on, because you're gonna smear your and crease your concealer that you had previously applied. So just tap it on, and then go with the sponge, and I'm just gonna blend that out to the end of the eye and just kind of like drag it up a little bit, because I want to make sure that it's giving me a lifted look, and I don't want it to go straight, because then I'm gonna look more tired than I already look. So once this is blended out, just go ahead and take what's on your sponge, and I do like the nose, the side of the nose, and this underneath part, and then the tip and the bridge. If you overdo it on your foundation or your concealer on your nose, you'll find that like it just looks like your makeup's not sticking onto your nose, and that always happens. Like it's kind of happening now, and it especially happens to me, and I hate it. Like it literally just won't, no matter how much makeup you put on your nose. I don't know if anyone's had that problem, but it's like you're putting the makeup in, is not going nowhere, and that irritates the crap out of me. So what I'm gonna do is go back in and just like sweep off that product of your concealer stick, and go in with a few more dots in the inner, like to the halfway point of your under eye, and we're gonna blend that out, and that's gonna be kind of like our full coverage under eye. And that's our concealed look. I'm not gonna set my face yet. I'm gonna do a little bit of cream contouring, just a slight bit, because I'm getting a double chin. I don't know if you can tell. I'm pretty sure you can. I think I'm gonna go with this shade here. So if you go like this, you know where your line is and you know where to apply it. I already know where to apply it, but so you can see, I'll do it. And I'm going up towards the hairline, not in the hairline. You don't want to get your makeup in your hairline, even though it's going to be there anyway. And then on this side. So I literally just do that, and then I'm going to blend that out. And if I need any on my nose or anything, which I don't know if I want to apply it yet, then I'll do that next. And just a quick little like side note, if you're putting on because this has happened to me, and then it's so annoying when you put on like cream contour colors, if it dries out really quickly, like the product, or it's not like warm enough on your face to stay creamy, it'll dry up. And let's say like I put those dots on my cheek, and then I go and put some dots on my nose, and then I'm like focusing on different areas of my face. Like when I come back to blend out that product on my cheek, it'll be sometimes so dried out, or like dried out enough to where you can blend it, and it just looks like when you it looks like you could see like where you applied it. So just a little pointer, that elixir helps with that as well. Like it helps to keep the product a little creamier for a little longer. I'm breathing so hard, my lips are getting chapped. Like that's terrible. All right, so we have that done, and now that you've done that, your eyes are probably creased a little bit because you were blending, but take the opposite side of your sponge. I'm just gonna take this side of my sponge, and I'm gonna go and like re-blend it so that it's not creased. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Airspun powder, and I'm gonna, I do this, you know, I don't know how you use your setting powder, but for me, I use the lid. And I'm gonna shake it so some product comes out, and then flip it back over, and I tap the lid like this, so your product is like nice and sifted on the lid. So that way you're not like recreasing it basically after you reblended it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and smooth it back out. And I use this side because we use the other side for the dark. Then I'm gonna tap my sponge on the lid just like this with the little product that's on there. And we're gonna set where we've applied our contour and concealer. The reason I don't cover the contoured area when I'm doing the rest of my face is because I don't want it to overset, if that makes sense to you, like that contoured area. I don't want it to get too dry because I want the bronzer to like adhere to it when I go in and bronze my face. So I don't want it to set as long as my other areas. I'm gonna go in with bronzer, and this is that Physicians Formula bronzer, but it's just like a mini little sample. I don't know, they brought this out around Christmas time last year. And I'm already almost done with it. I'm so sad because I loved, well, now I know what shade to buy. My problem is that when I don't know what shade to buy in something, I won't buy the product at all. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, like I could try all of them. So I used the middle shade the most, and that one was Butter Bronzer Sunset, in the Sunset shade. So next time I get this bronzer, I'm gonna get the Sunset shade. The other two are really good, but the first one is a little too light. And then this one's like way too dark for me, but I love how the dark one works as like an eyeshadow or on darker skin tones. It's really, really pretty, and it's not too harsh. I'm just gonna use this little brush for my bronzer, and I use it for blush too. So go ahead and just dab, and I use the light shade to kind of like neutralize the middle shade so it's not as harsh or like dark when I apply it. And I'm gonna go ahead and just bronze up my forehead and my cheeks. So just dabbing the bronzer on my forehead. I'm not gonna go in and like smear it like this or anything. Just dab where you need that extra little color or like toning to your face. And I try to just do like the two sides here, not like across the whole top of my forehead to where it looks like a round like streak of bronzer. I kind of like when it just looks really light. But I don't know why, I hate how my forehead looks without bronzer, so I always have to have bronzer on these two sides at least, so it kind of like brings in the focus on the center. And then oh, just take what's left. You don't re-dab or anything, just go ahead and lightly brush across your jawline. If you don't want to drag it either, because it'll look like you have like a beard or something growing. But you know, if you got that double chin problem going on like me. And it probably looks harsh on my cheeks because I can see it in the mirror, but don't worry, we got you. We're gonna blend that out, and then just use your like powder brush and blend that jawline. This is a Morphe blending brush, the M433, and I'm gonna dab it into that center of the sunset color of the bronzer, and then lightly go on the sides of my nose and bring it up to my eyebrow area. Go ahead and grab the sponge. You're gonna use the side you used for your powder, for your setting powder. And I use like that amount barely on the tip of that edge. And I go in and clean up so I can blend it out also. The sides. So you can see I'm not covering the whole like line that I just did of like a contour, but cleaning it up so that it looks nice and clean and straight. And then do the same. And I'm not dragging it, I'm dabbing it so that it's getting the powder right where I want it. And there you go. So you have a nice little bronze like contoured moment on your nose. I'm gonna leave that setting for a minute or two. I'm gonna go ahead and like clean up my eyes so I can go, so we can start our eyeshadow. If you want that double end must have, you know, like you don't even have to dig through your makeup bag, I have these on my website, and my website's linked in the description, so go and get you one. So I'm just gonna take the spoolie part and I'm gonna brush up my brows. And then I'm just using the LA Girl brow kit, and this is in the medium shades. Okay, and I use this all the time, so it looks jacked up. But I'm just dabbing my brush into this shade here, the darker one. So I went ahead and filled in my eyebrows, and then we're just gonna go ahead and clean them up, and then we're gonna roll right into our eyeshadow look. So after cleaning up my brows, I'm gonna do like literally the smallest little amount of concealer on my lids, because I already have that cream contour color. Like I use that as a base of my eyeshadow. I don't exactly always use an eyeshadow base, just I feel like sometimes the eyeshadow adheres better than it does to an eyeshadow, like an actual eyeshadow base. Or not all eyeshadow bases work that great, I should say. So I mean, the cream contour colors the lightest shades, and then I'll do like one dab of concealer over that. And also, if you're on a budget and you can't go out and just buy an eyeshadow base, that's an easy trick to use. Or if I forgot mine and I'm doing a client's makeup, that's what I use, and it lasts just as long. So like I said, we don't spend money on expensive makeup but no reason. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out, and then we're gonna apply eyeshadow. I'm gonna go with my Sweet and Sultry palette by Confiance Cosmetics. That's my palette for my brand, and it's already fall coming up, so you already know I have to use my favorite shades. Like this is my dream palette, that's why I made it with all of these shades in it. I am obsessed with fall. Like, you have no idea. I love fall so much. I'm just obsessed with fall. I don't know why. I know it's like a common thing. People are like, I love fall. But when I say like fall just gives me so much joy. I love fall so much. I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, so we're just gonna roll right into the fall looks. And I'm so excited. I'm really excited. So what I'm gonna do is, I don't want to go too dark. Like I don't want to go extra fall because we're not there yet. We're still in September. So I'm gonna go light fall. And we're gonna use Cocoa. This is like one of my favorites. I always use Cocoa. I'm just gonna dab my brush in that, dust it off, and we're gonna do a little crease action and just go in and dab that in the crease. Just dabbing that, getting that all over the crease. Don't smear it. You will smear right through your base. And what I mean by smear is like, don't do this action yet, because you want to go in and get the product on there. You want to pack the product on and then blend it out. So extra in these corners here. And this palette, I'm sorry if you can hear that chewing. That's the dog. He's chewing on a tag. And he's been chewing on all my stuff, so I'm just going to let him chew on his little tag. I'm not even going to stop him. So I'm sorry if it sounds, I don't know, but that's just him chewing on a tag. So I'm just going to go in and finish packing that on. But I was saying that this palette is really great for everyone, really. I tried to make it universal so that everybody can use it, not just like, I hate when there's just products for light-skinned people or just for darker tones. And I know specifically it's harder to create products and shades for just very, very light people who are extremely pale and who are extremely on a darker scale. But all skin tones are very beautiful with very different shades. So I love like palettes and everything specifically that you can use for both. Especially as a makeup artist, it's really annoying when you have like a client or something and then there's like an extra client who's like, can you do my makeup, and then you only have like light shades or you're only rolling with dark shades. So I love palettes and everything that it's like prepared. You're just ready to go for no matter what. So I tried to do that with my palette. And I have more palettes to come and more ideas. It's just I need to get rid of these palettes because I have so many still in stock. But if you want this palette, go and get it. It's on my website and you can always use discounts. I'll use a discount code, or I'll put a discount code in the description for you. I always have a discount and I always have like some kind of sale going on. So if you want this palette, I have it listed in the description and I have a discount code so you can go and get you one. Now that that color's packed onto the lid, we're gonna blend it out, and I'm gonna go with the M504 Morphe brush, and it's this kind of brush. It's like for blending and everything, so go ahead and use something similar to this to blend out your eyeshadow, especially the lid, like that's on the lid. And the color I'm gonna use is number 7. I'm gonna use that like mustardy yellow shade, number 7. That one's like a perfect mustard tone for everybody to use, and I love how it looks when it's used to blend out those browns. It just looks really pretty. So I'm just blending out that brown with the number 7 shadow, and you can see how nicely they blend out too. One thing with the shadows that I wanted with this palette was that they'd be extra blendable. I mean, it's best quality that I would use on my clients and on myself. That's what I want to put out into my brand. I don't want to just put stuff out that's like, you know, I'm just trying to sell. I want to put stuff out that I actually use, and I love every product that I have. If I don't love it, I won't put it out so that you guys can buy it. Like, I just don't think that that's, why would you release a product that sucks? You know, that's what I feel. Both sides are blended now, and I'm gonna use what's left on my brush that I used for that cocoa color, and I'm just gonna kind of define the sides of the eye. I'm just literally dabbing the color there, so you can kind of see it's like barely darkening it up a little bit. Just using a little bit of setting powder, and I'm literally gonna dab it along here and clean this and bring it up. So it should look something like that, nice and defined. So I'm gonna go in with some cream contour. That cream contour, that comes in handy. As you can tell, I use it for a whole lot of stuff. I'm gonna clean up my lid a little bit, so apply some a pop of like shimmer. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do a little tiny area here so that shimmer can adhere to that. All right, using any kind of flat brush, like this is a cheapy little flat brush, but any kind of flat brush like that to go and apply your shimmer shade or your pop of color shade, as I call it, works best. And I am going to use Muse and Tigress. I'm going to go ahead and just mix them both. Muse is like a more like rose gold bronzy shade, and you can tell I use that one more, but Muse is like a really pretty gold. I don't even know, it's just one of my favorite colors, and it's just like a really pretty like golden tone. And then Muse is just such a pretty like light like rose goldy shade. And then I'll swatch them here because they're just so pretty. And I'm just tapping that right in the center. And I'm literally dabbing my brush in both shades at, you know, like one after the other. Just to get that perfect mix of the two. Because I love both of them so much, I couldn't decide on which one to use. And they both look really pretty together, actually. And And then once it comes up to this crease part, I don't really put that much product there. I kind of just use from what's here and pat it there because I don't want that to get mixed into the rest of my mat. So taking my blending brush, the M433, I'm gonna go in and reapply some of this cocoa right where I applied the edge of where I applied the shimmer, and then I'm gonna go in on this side and do the same thing so it's blended and it doesn't look too dramatic. So kind of just dragging in this way and not like this, so dragging in. So just taking this angled little brush here, I'm gonna use that with the color Toasty. It's gonna be this toasty brown, and I'm gonna do like a faux little wing thing here. So it just makes your eyes look a little more up, like I said, anything to make them look like they're going upwards, and just gives it like a slight like cat eye effect without the eyeliner, because we don't got time for eyeliner at all. So I'm just gonna use that and just kind of like make a faux little wing. So now that we're done with the eyes, I'm gonna use this Morphe 510 brush, and it's all bent because I had it in my makeup bag, but it's just like this fluffy, it's like a perfect highlighter brush. And I'm gonna use that with this is the Pop Beauty setting spray. I'm just gonna spritz it a little bit from far away. We're gonna go in and start with our highlight, and I'm gonna use for highlight Treasure, and it's that golden tone highlight that's just like very subtle. It's not too yellow, it's not too like drastic of a yellow tone highlighter. And just sift it around, like sweep it around the lid, and a little bit goes such a long way. That's what I love about these. You don't have to like cake on this highlighter at all. Now I'm gonna sweep that on my high point, so I'll show you where. I'm gonna go ahead and do it here, and you can already see it's just literally the prettiest like tone. But since we're doing fall shades, this is about to be used in every makeup look that I do. And then just bring it up a little bit, and I sweep it just slightly on like the corners of my forehead, and then I'm gonna bring that on above my lip here, my chin, and then on the nose I'll do that but with a different brush. So using that highlighter brush, just kind of blending and making it look a little less harsh. And you don't want to do this on your whole nose. That's gonna defeat the purpose of your like contour lines. So once you do that, I just take my powder brush and go down the sides and then like this to clean up any extra that might have fallen, and then to blend it out as well. And I'm gonna use the same exact brush, the flat brush, for the inner corners of my eyeshadow, and just dabbing that little flat brush into the highlighter. And then I'm just gonna apply that and dab it here, and that's as far as I'm gonna take it. I'm not gonna bring it into my eyeshadow. Alright, so the eye is pretty much complete. I know I probably already said that, but there's just little things that I do that I forget. So I'm gonna take that M433 brush, take it back in with the cocoa shade from my Sweet and Sultry palette. And I'm gonna just do a little tiny, like barely anything under my eye to just bring in and like lock in the browns that are on the top. Alright, so time for some mascara, and I'm just gonna go ahead and sweep a little bit on so that I could apply my lashes. The L'Oreal Voluminous is what I used right now on my lashes, top and bottom. And I just use that because it's just been my go-to mascara for years. Like, it's not flaky and it just gives such a nice lift to the lashes. I don't know, it's just been my mascara forever, and I don't, every time I try to use a new one I just end up coming back to this one. All right, and then to apply my lashes, I'm gonna use my little pink lash applicator. These are also on my website. I have a rose gold one and a black one, but these are just literally the easiest things to use to apply your lashes. You could also use tweezers, but this little end here grabs the lash band, so that way you're not like poking and trying to adjust. You can literally just grab the whole lash band and apply it where you want it. All right, so the lashes are on, and the last thing to do is to do the lip and set our whole face. All right, so the lip liner I'm using is this LA Girl, and it's a brown shade. So I'm gonna go ahead and line them real quick. All right, so I lined my lips and they're a little bit crusty, I just noticed. So what I'm gonna do is put on some chapstick. And then I'm gonna just kind of use the chapstick to also blend out that liner. All right, now I'm looking like a chola, but I'm gonna fix it, I'll show you. Alright, so this is the final look. I'm sorry I didn't film an outro. My boyfriend came in and I got embarrassed to actually talk on camera. So luckily I got to do the whole video except for the outro. But I hope you guys like this look. And if you aren't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and comment. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!